It's time we end this digital colonization. For decades, African data has had more passport stamps than the average African person. If you sent a message from Nairobi to Lagos, it traveled all the way to Europe first, took a coffee break, then came back. Slow and more expensive. It was set up in a way to keep Africa paying rent on its own information. But that era is dying. Today, Africa's tech leaders have dropped a $2 billion blueprint for digital independence. So it's building the continent's own subsea cables, terrestrial fiber routes, data centers, and cloud servers. So this isn't about streaming Netflix faster, it's about sovereignty, the right to our own connection, our continent, and our communication. So when you control the cable, you control the conversation, right? So let's check it out.
Every time you send a message or browse the internet, you rely on a vast hidden network, one that relies on certain cables. But these cables laid across the ocean floor are fragile. When they break, entire countries can go offline. Unlike other continents that have extensive networks of internet infrastructure on shore, Africa's internet mainly depends on undersea fiber optic cables. They link Africa to data servers that allow people on the continent to get connected to the internet. Since some African countries only have one undersea cable serving them, when there is damage to it, the entire country could go offline. This ship, the Leon Tevenin, is one of the few in the world that repairs those undersea cables.
Typically, cables break because of humans. Most of the time, it's due to anchors, fishing, trawlers. So typically, you would see scars from trawling.
The repair process starts by finding the location of damage by using a specialized probe.
A signal is sent from the station on the cable, and then the signal travels along the cable. And then the ship tracks the signal, and where we lose the signal, we know the fault is there.
A remotely operated vehicle, also called an ROV, is then deployed to the bottom of the sea, where it inspects the damage to the cable. It cuts the affected portion for it to be sent back to the ship, where repairs begin. For a successful repair, every fiber strand, thinner than a human hair, must be perfectly aligned.
I call this the heart of the operation. This is where we fix the cable. This is where we have two parts and we make the impossible possible.
Once repaired, the cable is sent back under the sea and internet is restored.
So listen, guys, connecting the continent is essential. So from Egypt's Mediterranean gateway to Kenya's East African corridor to Senegal's Atlantic edge, the continent is being digitally rewired. So massive projects like the Two Africa cable. It's 45,000 kilometers and it connects 33 countries with enough capacity to power a digital future. Another example is the Aquino cable from Google. So it's boosting West African bandwidth by 20 times. Additionally, CCOM is East Africa's first privately built subsea fiber network. And put these together, and now Africa has over 180,000 kilometers of high capacity fiber. And that's enough to circle the earth 4 times. But here's the part that headlines skip. So African companies are running the show for the most part. So WIOCC, it's Africa's backbone carrier. Baobab, it's MTN Group. It's controlling terrestrial fiber across 20 plus nations. Liquid Intelligent Technologies is building cross-border fiber from Cape Town to Cairo, and governments are matching that energy. So examples of that are Kenya, so Konzo Technopolis, Nigeria, the Galaxy Backbone, Egypt, smart villages and data parks, Somalia, direct subsea cable access since 2023, Burkina Faso, new fiber corridors linking landlocked economies to the sea, right? So we're not leasing bandwidth anymore. As much as possible, we're manufacturing that same network. So looking at it from a negative perspective, many times people would say that Africa's internet still depends entirely on foreign control. It's not true. Definitely not anymore. So African telcos own or co-own 35% of subsea cable capacity, and it's climbing each quarter. So Somalia joined the Two Africa cable in 2023, gaining direct global connectivity for the first time. So there's no more routing going through Djibouti, Dubai, or London, right? or no, it's not required. So Burkina Faso also joined the West African Digital Corridor, giving landlocked nations their first serious fiber routes to ports. And new internet exchange points in Ethiopia, Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa keep traffic local. So the insight here is that digital sovereignty isn't only about speed; it's about security, right? So when you can route, store, and protect your own data, you control the elections, the fintech, your education, your national narrative, right? So yes, Africa's cables travel overseas, but that's how the global internet works, right? So sovereignty isn't only about geography; it's about control. And when Africa controls or owns the cable, you control the routing and it stores the data at home, so nobody can weaponize our connection. We're reclaiming both of those, right? So, what does this mean for the future? What does it look like in real life? Well, the first thing is that data costs drop by up to 40%, right? When traffic stays local, people stop paying that Europe round trip fee for services. And then fintech explodes, right? So African apps now process billions daily without London acting as a middleman. So think of M-Pesa, Chipper Cash, Flutterwave, EVC, Dapshill. They all scale faster when the data stays home. So education and health go digital as well. So online learning and telemedicine grow instantly, when the bandwidth stops bleeding out of the continent, right? So cities like Accra, Kigali, Nairobi, Mogadishu, and Lagos are turning into digital hubs because of this shift, right? Additionally, there's new jobs for engineers and data workers. So every kilometer of cable requires fiber technicians, civil engineers, cybersecurity teams, software developers, data center operations. Just think Somalia. So like local ISPs arise, right? So for the first time, Somali ISPs can stream educational content without paying international transit fees. Burkina Faso, rural entrepreneurs join digital markets, and new terrestrial fiber routes let rural business owners finally access e-payment systems, right? So this is infrastructure as liberation. And every line of code laid here is a border, a race between African innovators, right? So when we're looking to control the narrative, we have to think the next frontier is data governance, right? So because once your servers are local, the laws are protecting them locally as well. So think countries like Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, they're drafting strong data protection acts aligned with the African Union's Malabo Convention. So this means one day, inshallah, your bank info, your medical records, your creative work, your cloud storage will all live under African servers, under African protection, with African jurisdiction. So this momentum continues. Africa could and will become one of the world's most interconnected emerging regions. So exporting secure cloud capacity to Asia and South America is a priority. And here's the poetic justice, right? The same cables once designed to extract African data are becoming the pipelines that pour digital wealth right back in. So at the end of the day, this isn't a story about cable length only, although being able to circle or circumvent the Earth 4 times is pretty cool. This is a story about power. For the first time in history, Africa owns the wires connecting it throughout, right? So when the routes are ours, the speed is ours, the data is ours, then the future becomes ours as well. So, mashallah, that's your African Insight for today. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because of Mr. Empower TV. We don't chase headlines, we chase the truth behind them. I'm Mr. Empower, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.